Hi, I'm Dr. Tim Weir, and I gotta tell you, I love life. But when I'm not being a husband, a father, a grandfather, an author, or a practicing chiropractor, I'm the host of the television show, Loving Life with Dr. Tim Weir. I love to cook. I love to travel. I like to spend time with people who do what they love and love what they do. Join me and Elvis for the next 30 minutes as we help you discover how to love life. Hey, welcome to this episode of Loving Life. I'm glad you're here with me today because we are going to spend some time talking about you and your life and how to get it in order, how to plan it. If you don't plan it, somebody else is going to plan it for you. So don't change the channel because we're going to spend today talking about you and your life. Can you believe we're spending a whole time without Amy Smith here talking about keto? She is really the queen. So if you're interested in the keto diet, you really need to look her up. Amazing, amazing. She'll help walk you through it, okay? I want to give you kind of the scientific stuff behind it because here's the problem. You tell people about the keto diet and they, ignorant people will say, it's very dangerous, you're going to die. Really? Eating Snickers and sugar and 10 pounds of bread a day is not going to kill you? Yeah, it's going to kill you really quick. So when I began to look at the keto diet, the ketogenic diet, I began to look at some of the research that's coming out. Because here's what happened. In 1929, they began to put kids who had seizures or convulsions on it. They were just desperate trying to figure out what it was. Back then there were no drugs. And so people would have to try to change things naturally, change things with their diet. So they tried the ketogenic diet with these kids and the changes were amazing. They worked very well, but then all of a sudden medications started coming up and people began to switch. Wow. Here I got a natural thing that's not going to cause me any other problems anywhere else, and I switched to some drugs or some medications that are probably going to cause problems in other areas. But then what began to come up was not only was this anti-convulsive thing an amazing byproduct, but then people began to notice neurological changes in areas of their body that they were having trouble with. And then they began to notice metabolic changes. All of a sudden, you're on this diet of eating all this fat and stuff, and your blood pressure goes down. Wow. Cholesterol goes down. Insulin levels change. Amazing stuff. Let me read this to you. On one hand, chronic consumption of refined sugar and starches results in systemic inflammation in the body that exacerbates neuroinflammation and plays a role in blood-brain barrier disruption, impaired brain glucose utilization, mood disorders, and overall detriments to neurological health. Thus, the low carbohydrate feature of the ketogenic diet facilitates a low intake of sugars and starches, helping to mitigate these deleterious neurological effects. In other words, when you eat this way, your body's going to do so much better. Your nervous system is going to improve. You're going to feel better all over. Moods will be enhanced. All those things from doing it. So, here's what you got to do. You got to become familiar with it. Go see Amy Smith's site. Get hooked into her. Listen to what she says. I'm telling you, she's like amazing with all this information about keto. I did it. And you know what I've done now? I've put my patients, my fibromyalgia patients, I had a young lady came in, I think she was 23 years old, had been involved in an accident a couple years ago. Terrible fibromyalgia symptoms. The only thing we did was to give her chiropractic care and to treat her with a ketogenic diet. Amazing, amazing results. She just popped right out of it. Listen, this thing is all about love and life. You got 100 years to live if you're really lucky. So you got to do the best that you can, figuring out how to do it. And I'm telling you, according to all the research that's coming out, it's the ketogenic diet that's the answer. Go to our website if you want more information, drtimweir.com. It's all about love and life. Don't change your channel. We got more coming up. Hey, we're with Amy Smith and You Can Keto. How exciting is this, huh?
So exciting.
So
I don't normally do cooking lives, so this is a totally new
how awesome is this,
for
huh?
me, yes.
There ain't no telling what's going to happen.
I know, this is
I'm
why
excited.
I don't do this normally.
So this whole thing about fat bombs,
Right?
what are they?
They are a great way on the ketogenic diet. If you're trying to lose weight, you want to keep your protein lower than your fats, of course. So this is a great way to get your healthy fats in without the protein. And it's our version of dessert.
Wow. So cool. So what we're going to do is a chocolate chip cookie dough.
Fat bomb.
Ooh.
Which are my personal favorites.
Okay, so help me out here. What do we got?
We got the recipes, what we're looking at here, guys.
Yeah, it's on our phone.
We have one stick.
It's on your website, isn't it?
It is. It's on my Push for Your Better group as well, but we've got it pulled up here to make it today. We want to do 4 ounces of butter, real butter, guys.
Not margarine.
No, we want the real stuff.
Because that's a misconception that margarine is better for you. That's
you know what? You know
lie.
how they came up with margarine, right?
Yeah.
It's
talk about it.
Well, during the Great Depression and things like that, butter was so expensive that they made margarine, and it actually does nothing but clog your arteries, and it's not good for you at all. Crazy,
It's good
right?
selling stuff, though.
Yeah, it's cheap to make. That's why so many.
Have you noticed at the supermarket it's really hard to find butter?
Real butter, it is.
Yeah.
Yep, you gotta read those labels.
If you think it's butter, but it's not, it's not.
Exactly.
Okay. The next one, sorry, I jumped in here a
Package
little
of
bit.
cream cheese, 8 ounces. Cream cheese, guys. You can have cream cheese on the keto diet. Did
How
you know?
amazing is that? Half a cup of Swerve.
Swerve, my favorite. I'm asked all the time, what is your favorite keto sweetener? Swerve is what I use for all my baking.
Swerve.
I kind of like this. Reading the recipe and the guy doing the cooking, I could get used to this. This is
See?
okay. Half a tablespoon of vanilla.
Half a tablespoon or a teaspoon?
TBSP.
Wow, really?
TBSP.
Urgh.
We're going for the big guns.
Okay, so here we go. You ready?
Ready.
Got it.
And we want to do 3 ounces of dark chocolate chips. Guys, when you're picking your chocolate chips,
Look at that.
look at what? Oh, that wasn't funny. Okay, so with that, what we're gonna do, when you're looking at your chocolate chips, you wanna make sure you read your labels. You definitely want dark chocolate, and you wanna make sure they haven't added sugar in on you.
So we just put that in.
And then we are gonna add just a dash. See, I'm telling you, this is why I don't do cooking lives. Can't open it. There we go.
Got it.
Just a dash of pink salt.
Absolutely fabulous for you.
Absolutely. I put pink salt in my water. I put it in my bone broth. We put it in everything. It helps your body with electrolytes.
Misconception, if you eat salt, it's going to give you a heart attack and all that crap. High blood pressure.
That's not true. I'm actually off. I started on blood pressure medicine, and I'm actually off blood pressure medicine now, and I have amazing blood pressure since been doing keto.
Okay, so I've washed my hands and everything before we started. So, your mom is actually the queen's queen.
My mom is the one that does my fat bombs, and she's the one that makes my cookies and brownies and stuff all behind the scenes for me.
So we just pick it up, right?
Yep, just pick
Make
it up
a little
and roll
fat
it.
See, it's
You
little.
can, if you want to get fancy, you know, like once again, I'm from the South. They have those little bitty hush puppy scoops that are like really small things. I use those.
That's kind of
to
a
make
big
them
one,
pretty.
but
And you're going to refrigerate these.
right.
And my favorite part of the recipe says, "Eat some while you make them."
Who wrote that?
Me.
Okay. Now, can I do one and roll in a little bit of coconut?
Yes. What he did here was he went ahead and some the unsweetened coconut that we have talked about. Lots of people like those like that.
Those are just like little hairy coconuts. Now, how easy is this? Now, let me ask you this, because again, you
And
can't
you can freeze
eat
these
all
as
of
well.
these.
No, this recipe makes 13 balls. What I do for dessert is I eat one, or sometime for a snack I'll eat one. Coconut fingers. Sometimes I'll eat one as well, but you can freeze these, and they do freeze extremely well.
Are you going to have some?
I'm gonna totally have some.
Yeah. How many of these can you have?
It depends on what your macros are. For me, I can usually only do one at a time, but if it fits in your macros, you can totally eat them.
It's all about love and life. Don't change the channel with Amy Smith here. Be right back. I had somebody ask me the other day, how do you do so much? Because I've written a couple of books and a TV show. My practice is full-time. Here's my answer. I start the day with a plan. Now, I'm sitting at the actual place where I sit every single morning. The difference between what you're seeing and what is actually there is that light behind me. That sunshine is not there when I'm here doing my work. And the reason is that it's about 4:45 in the morning that I start, okay? And I put together some plans, and I saw how they worked for me, so I decided to put them down in my book. So this is my latest book. It's called My Success Battle Plan. The first part of the book is just a couple of chapters talking about why you need a battle plan. It used to be an old song we used to sing in church. It's a battlefield, brother, not a recreation room. It's a battle, not a game. And the fact is, life is a battle. You're going to go through a number of different things that you have to strategically go through. And this helps you figure that out. So when I start, for example, let's pick one day here, and there's no dates on this because I want you can start at any time of the year with this. So I start with a quote, "Failure will never overtake me if my determination to succeed is strong enough." That's from Agmandino. He was a great, great motivational speaker. So I got a quote that I start with, and then it asks me, am I well rested and well fed? Listen, if you're not sleeping at night, then you're gonna have some problems. Or if you're eating just junk, your brain's not going to work right. Then step number one is read your purpose. So I have written down my purpose for my life. I read that next. Then the next thing I do is I'm going to go to my book and I'm going to write down the goals for my life. And those goals, I'll help you go find out what they are in the first part of the book. So you just write them down. So I put today's date. I'm well rested, well fed, I've read my purpose, and I read my goals for my life. Something that's missing right here is my coffee cup. I'm gonna have my coffee with me first thing in the morning. And then I write my goals, and then what are my action steps that I'm gonna do to help pull those goals together? See, it's just not writing them down. You gotta make an action step. And then at the very bottom of it, I hereby declare that this is going to be an amazing day, and I am thankful that I'm fulfilling my purpose and that my future is amazing and I am powerful. And it asks for my signature because I'm going to agree to that. Okay? I've got my plan set. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'll study some type of motivational book. I happen to be going through Napoleon Hill's Law of Success. And so I'll find just a few things that I like about, and I'm not going to read a whole lot of this. I'm going to read just maybe a couple of pages. But I want to make sure that I highlight what I'm looking at and that I really, really understand it. Okay? Now, here's an important point for you. In fact, this morning it happened to me. I was reading this book, and the reason I've got a computer here is this. I don't use it for, I'm not looking at Facebook. I'm not planning things to do. I'm not working on a project from work. The only reason I have this computer here at this point is for my dictionary. Because if I get to a point where I read something and I don't understand it, if I keep going, and I talk about that at the beginning of the book, all of a sudden my brain stops right there. And even if I keep reading, my brain is still back at that word, so I better clear that word. So here, just as an example, this morning I was reading this. Concentrate your mind upon the attainment of the object of a deeply seated desire, and very soon will become a lodestone. Okay? The world a lodestone is. So I got my dictionary out. Here it is. It is a magnetite. It has magnetic properties, or it's something that attracts strongly. So that makes a whole lot of sense then. If a deeply seated desire, and very soon you will become something that attracts strongly. I want to become a magnet. I want to become a magnet for ideas, for money, for all those good things. And so I read that next. Go to the website, My Success Battle Plan, order the book, and let's get started together. Keep loving life. Okay, I got some good news for you. The whole keto diet thing, remember we were with the Queen of Keto, Amy? Amazing, amazing diet. You know, a number of years ago, it's probably been 2-3 years ago, I started having some difficulties with even my brain. I was forgetting things. I couldn't think of things. I was with guests and couldn't remember their names. I couldn't even remember what we were barely talking about. I was having trouble with words. Words couldn't form. And, you know, a lot of times people think, oh, I'm getting Alzheimer's or doing something crazy like that. And then I began to look at what can I do from a diet standpoint or a nutrition standpoint to help me. And that's why really I started the keto diet. So in doing that, I began to look for things that I could do that would kind of help push it along even a little bit faster. So I began to look, and I talked to Amy Smith from You Can Keto. And she got me turned on to the Keto Cray Smart Coffee and Creamer. Now this has MCT oil, some coconut, and then some other major stuff that is really good for the brain. So this is like a, I'm just gonna dig in here and get some, it's like a creamer, okay? The great thing about this one is that in just seconds, it assimilates into the coffee. And so I add that in. I also add in some whole heavy whipping cream. Now with the keto diet, again, remember it's a lot about the fats that you eat because we're not getting enough fats in our diet. But here's what I do in the morning. I just sit with a cup of coffee. I do my studying. I fill out my success battle plan, read my books, do my computer work. And man, I am set for the day. Oh, by the way, this is the Smart Elevate coffee. And it's weight management, but it also helps the brain function as well. Here's what I did. I put together, I'm gonna have them put right here, how you can get this Smart coffee. I'm telling you, try it. It's gonna make a difference in your life. You're gonna notice differences from day one, okay? can't say that about everything, but day one, you're going to notice some changes. And check out my friend Amy Smith. You can keto. Hey, hope you enjoyed this episode of Loving Life. Listen, it's all about finding things that will help you love life even more. Our friends at MetagenicInstitute.com gave us the article that you heard today. Go to their website, find out more about the ketogenic diet. It's all about making these plans, these choices, finding your goal, and then shooting for it. It's called intention. Intention is this extreme, I'm intense about where I'm going, what I'm doing. And when you do that, your whole life is going to change. All of a sudden, the universe, God, everybody's going to get on your side, and the only thing that you did is made an intention of where my goal is going to be and where I'm going to be in my life. So, step number 1, go buy a planner. Step number 2, make those goals. Step number 3, notice how I stuck that one goal in front of that one thing in front of that? Yeah, you're paying attention, good. And number 3, every day, I'm going to spend time reading it, going over it, and guess what? Let's see where it takes you. I'm excited for you. Drop me a little note and tell me that you're doing this. Go to our website, drtimweir.com. Find out more information about this show and about where you can watch this show all across the country. Go to our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook page, Loving Life with Dr. Weir. It's all about loving life. So until next week, keep loving life.